Okay, so this is my infectious disease project research paper. The title of it is "Why the Flu is Unique." I didn't put that on here. Sorry about that. But so my name's Hardik, and then a little bit more about myself. Some of my hobbies include playing soccer. I like to play the piano, and then I also like reading a lot. Also, I'm a junior at Valencia High School in California. Yeah, here we go. So it's my introduction. So basically, what I'm doing is I'm investigating the flu. The flu has been a problem all throughout history. It's not like smallpox, which is a problem a long time ago now, but now it's not. Now the flu is still very like it's still prevalent, and lots of people are still dying from it. So I'm trying to find out like why is the flu unique? The flu is completely unlike anything. There's a flu vaccine. There's a flu shot every year, which is a vaccine every year. Why do we need a flu vaccine every year? Oh, and this maybe could lead to a type of new treatment. Maybe I find stumble upon something that can lead to like, hey, this part of the flu is unique. If we target that part, maybe I could treat it. And then I want to determine why the flu is not other infectious diseases. Sorry. It's just different. There's probably maybe a few that are similar to it, but we need a flu shot even in a first world country like the US. We still need a flu shot because it is still deadly. So here's my literary review. Some relevant research. There's a lot of research about the flu in the past and what we could have done. Like about the past, I've seen lots of research papers on like swine flu, and then the 1918 Spanish flu. That was done a lot about that. And then medications or treatment for the flu. This is all on PubMed, but I found a lot of medications or treatments for the flu, and it was like, oh, what ways can you prevent it? Or maybe this is how the flu vaccine works. So stuff like that. Some weaknesses or that I found were that the flu is like completely unique. There's like a few diseases that are like it, but this one is like really prevalent. And it's very different compared to other infectious diseases like Ebola that happened like once. Like there's a few maybe, but it didn't go all over the world. Flu, very infectious, and it went across the world a few times. So it's completely different. It's also constantly mutating and changing. So new research has to follow it because viruses they mutate. So when viruses mutate, they change and essentially they branch off. So we got to follow that to make sure that it doesn't get too deadly eventually. So my data collection, there was a lot of reading. A lot of reading, a lot of tables that I had to go through. That's how I got a lot of my data. And then I've gone through a lot of history and reading about different things, like what was different about H1N1, the swine flu, compared to the 1918 Spanish flu. Like, what was different about that? You know, they're still the same flu. What was different? Right? And then the flu has a long history. That's something that it's been here for hundreds of years. It has a long history, and it's still very deadly. And lots of research still needs to be done. It constantly mutates, but I'm pretty sure there has to be a way that we can find out. Maybe we can stop it completely. All right, and the flu is contagious and deadly even today. It's very still common. We still need a flu shot, even in the U.S., which is pretty uncommon. Like we don't need other stuff that like an Ebola vaccine or Ebola treatment compared to like in Africa. We still need a flu, so it's contagious and deadly even today. All right, and then the flu is extremely unique as it mutates very fast. It changes like every year, and then there's four types that we have to keep track of: A, B, type A, type B, type C, and type D. And so it's a cause, and then we have to make a different vaccine. Like a flu shot is essentially a vaccine that lasts for 1 year, but each year we need one because the flu is constantly changing. And then the four types, they act somewhat differently. Yeah, they're part of the same flu family. I think A is pretty it's very contagious compared to like D, which is not as common, but still same family. So the flu, why is the flu unique is what I'm trying to answer. That's basically like what makes it different, why we need a flu shot. And then I took much information presented in a way. So I wanted to show that the flu is different. I took a lot of information about what the flu was, and I wanted to show that the flu is completely unlike anything that we've seen. Um, yeah, and it's based on other people's work. It's an empirical paper. So even with my own additions, I'm somewhat limited by like what others have done since I don't have access to my own lab. I can't really find out exactly what the flu is, what components of it. So I'm based on like what the others have done. So that was my presentation, and just a little bit more about what the program did. I can stop sharing. So the program was a very helpful program. It basically gave me a lot of like it set everything through deadlines that worked, so I could do my introduction a week, then split it up so that it was a lot of work in a week, but it wasn't too bad. So I was able to get it done. And then also, Dr. Katie also helped a lot because she talked a lot about infectious diseases and also just guided me like, okay, so this is how these work. And that also helped me go to, and the parts of the virus. So that also helped me, when I was researching the flu structure and all that. And then Dr. Virgil, Professor Virgil also helped because he taught me how to like write properly, the creative writing part, and how everything should be. And the writing part is also important. You have to put what you want to say into words. So that's also very important. You have to be able to write it and clear it. So thank you.
A question from Dr. Kate. Dr. Kate, you're on mute.
There we go. Sometimes I forget. Anyhow, the question I wanted to ask you is, what is it that is different each from year to year with the flu? If you had to say it is part of the outside of the flu, is there something inside of the virus? What is different each year?
So I'm pretty sure that the one thing that's different are like the different markers on the outside. So our immune system can't recognize it each like time. So it's like a new virus essentially, even though it's the same thing. That's why we need a new vaccine. So because our immune system works like they recognize it once, and then they can fight it off more easily next time. The flu mutates so that our immune system doesn't recognize it, and it's essentially fighting the same thing, but it's different for immune system. So the vaccine helps us, target and help our immune system recognize the new flu, essentially.
And it's these H1N1 and things that you talk about. They're all the spikes. They're the outside, they're the landing docks of those proteins. And we're always trying to stay one step ahead. And sometimes we're not, it doesn't work out that way. So presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, hang in there. Wonderful. Hardik, come on with you. Don't turn it off so awkwardly. Wasn't your previous paper published? I'm sorry. Unmute.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it was.
Okay, so students typically come back to publish more research papers. Abhaya, who's a previous student, wrote 4 research papers. 3 of them got published. She got into a BSDO program in Nova Southeastern with a lot of scholarships. So we have seen research papers getting published as a cincher for college admissions and scholarships and everything. So please make sure that you submit for JSR Publishing. I can't insist that enough. And also, we should rename this program as How to Eat an Elephant in 12 Weeks. Okay, so I'm just kidding, because research is not easy and it doesn't end here. We want you to continue, but without those kind of deadlines, the scaffolding and structure, it's very difficult to achieve what we have to achieve. And the thing about Gen Z is it's the most misunderstood generation. If you see, the brain power is about 2x faster than how we were, right? But what they lack is the structure. And they tend to procrastinate not because they're lazy, because things are not very clear. And here in Gifted Gabber, we understand Gen Z very well, and our program is catered towards that. And also a big round of applause to Dr. Kate, who so patiently, who takes time to sort of explain each and every concept. Okay, your learning is directly proportional to the mentor that you learn from. Okay, so a big round of applause to Dr. Kate, the amount of time she spends making it more interactive for students to learn. Okay.